good? My name is Megan. If you're new to my channel, welcome, return, and welcome back. So I'm currently filming this, what day is it? Tuesday, December 22nd, because, sorry, my phone's dying, I need to plug it in. I know it's stupid, but like, knowing that this video isn't gonna go up until like the middle of January, I'm just really excited to like film it and kind of start my like inventory process, if that makes sense. If you couldn't tell by the title of this video, I am doing a makeup inventory for 2021, which is weird to think about. So I've gone through and I've counted out every single piece of makeup that I own, plus or minus a few lip balms. That one was I was a little unsure about it just because I have lip balms everywhere. But I think I found them all and I think they've all been accounted for. So with that being said, I'm actually going to, all right, there we go. Okay, so with that being said, I have not done a makeup inventory before, so I don't have numbers to compare this to while I'm like reading off my numbers for 2020, but I do have, I guess, kind of goals. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, I need to have this many primers next year, and like if I don't, that means I'm going to declutter everything. Like, you know, I'm going on kind of like a no buy, low buy for this next year, just because I do have a lot of makeup that I want to get some use out of. So, you know, if I don't use up everything that I have on my goals, like that's fine. I just kind of want to have a general idea of like what I can be doing just to kind of minimize my collection. So I will be putting up pictures of my collection as we go through each category. I am looking down at my laptop, which has my spreadsheet on it, so that's what I'm doing if you're curious. I do have a couple like category like this and that, but I will adjust them as we get into the categories. So let's just go ahead and start off. I will say I do have like sample sizes. I am sitting at my vanity, so I can show you like sample size. Like this is a little primer. I do count this. Hello? There we go. I do count this as one just because I do have one of it in my collection. So as we go through, my numbers will reflect, you know, how many minis I have and all that stuff, or sample sizes. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in, I guess. Starting pretty much in the order that I do my makeup for the most part. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my primers. As of right now, I guess I'll move over so I can put a little picture here. But as of right now, I currently have 8 primers. My rough goal for the end of 2021 is to have 6 primers. I do have a couple that I can easily finish. I have a couple minis, and I do have one that I'm planning to pan, so I should actually be down to at least 5. But my goal, I'm just gonna say, is 6. For foundations, I have 3. My goal is to have 2. I'm not a huge foundation wearer, but I do like having foundations in my collection. For concealers, I currently have 7. My goal is to have 4. I have a couple that I'm kind of iffy on, so I think that as I start to use them more and as I start to just use up concealers that I have, hopefully, we'll see, I can easily get that down to 4. For powders, I have 3. I would like to have 2. Although, you know what? Maybe I'd like to keep it at 3. Because I have a translucent loose powder, I have a colored loose powder, and then I have like a pressed powder. So somewhere between 2 and 3, I'd say I'm okay with. Where are we now? Setting sprays. Setting sprays, I have 4. I'm hoping to have 2 at the end of 2021. I have 1 that I'm hoping to finish up in the next year, and then I guess 2 technically that I'm hoping to finish up in the next year. So it should be fairly easy to get myself down to 2. For my face products, I categorize, and I guess my eye products, creams and like liquids and powders separate. Just because creams and liquids do expire quicker, and although yes, it's all blush, you know, the powder blushes are gonna last longer than the cream blushes. So I thought, at least for me, that it was better to kind of separate them out because the creams and powders will expire sooner. So also, anything that's a duo, as long as it's the same. So like I have a blush duo that you'll be able to see up in the picture right here. It's from Jouer. That's counted as 2 blushes. However, if I have anything with more than like 1 product, so if it's like a contour and a highlight or like a blush and a highlight palette, those will all count as face palettes, so I'll get to those after. But I do have 1 blush duo that I'm counting it as 2 separate blushes because there's 2 pans in it as opposed to like 1 item. So that's what we're doing here. And with that being said, my powder blushes comes out to 6. I would like to have 5 by next year or the end of the year. I'm hoping to get through 1, which I know that's a little ambitious, and I might declutter some here and there. So I think that 5 is hopefully gonna be a good enough number. Next is cream blush. I currently have 10. I'm hoping to have 7 just because I have so many cream blushes and I know that they don't last a very long time. So I'm hoping to get through quite a few of them, but then also, you know, if I end up decluttering some, I end up decluttering some. My powder, I'm calling this like category bronzers because I use bronzer and contour pretty much the same, and I don't really have enough to categorize like these are my contours and these are my bronzers, you know? So it's just all lumped together. I store them in the same area. It's my bronzers. So for powder bronzers, I have 5. I'm hoping to have 4. There's one that I am going to hopefully try to pan up in the new year. Realistically, I don't know if I'll get like all the way through it, but I want to give it a shot. And then for my cream bronzers, I currently have 4 and I'm hoping to have 2. For powder highlights, I currently have 4. I'm okay with that number. I like the 4 that I have. And you know, powders don't go bad as quickly, so I'm okay with having 4. For creams, I have 7 and I'm hoping to have 3. Realistically, I know that means I'm gonna have to declutter some just because there's no way I can get through 4 cream highlights, especially since I don't know how much I'll be wearing highlight, because when I wear my masks, it rubs off my highlight first, and I just don't like having much makeup in my mask. So oftentimes I'll just kind of skip the highlight if I'm going out and about. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have 3, which I know that I'm gonna have to declutter a couple of them, but I think I'll be okay with that as we get along to the decluttering season. For face palettes, I have 3, and again, that is anything with 2 or more different products. So like a blush and a highlight, or a blush, a highlight, and a contour, or a contour and a highlight, or whatever it is. I have 3 of those, and I'm honestly okay with my 3 that I have. I don't use them as often as I should, but I do really love all 3 of them. So I'm hoping to slowly start to kind of chip away at it, and so like I said, I'm okay with having 3. My single shadows, I currently have 9. I'm gonna say my goal is gonna be like 6 or 7, just because realistically I don't use single shadows all that often, but I also don't like getting rid of them because I do like having them around because they are handy and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. And again, I want to just clarify that, like I said, I'm not, you know, these aren't goals that like I have to hit this goal or whatever. It's just something that I would like to do at some, you know, hopefully in the year, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm not going to force these goals on myself. So for cream shadows, I currently have 11, and I do have one item that is like dual ended. You'll see it in the picture, but it's this Huda beauty stick, or the matte metal. I am counting these as 2 separate items just because I use like one of them up, it doesn't mean that I'm going to get rid of the whole thing necessarily. So I do have, I'm saying 11, and like I said, I am counting that as 2. And I'm hoping to have, ooh, I don't have a number for this one. Let's say like 9. We'll go with 8 actually. My goal is going to be to have 8. Realistically, again, I don't know that I'll keep it at 8 or whatever, but we will see. For eyeshadow bases, I have 3. My goal is to have either 1 or 2. I like having like an eyeshadow primer as well as a glitter primer. However, I'm not a huge glitter wearer, so realistically, like I don't need a glitter primer. So I currently have 3, and I'm hoping to have either 1 or 2 at the end of the year. For eyeshadow palettes, this is my biggest category. I have 20 eyeshadow palettes, and that, given a lot of them are like the e.l.f. bite size, so the little quads, but still individually packaged, it's 20 eyeshadow palettes. My goal is to have 17. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to go through 3 whole eyeshadow palettes this year, even if it is like a little quad. So I will have to declutter a couple if I do feel like I don't need them in my collection anymore. For mascaras, I have 16 currently. I have 6 open, which is still a lot. 2 of them are colored, 1 of them is a primer, so like I only have like 3 mascaras open, kind of is what I'm telling myself. My goal for the end of 2021, I still say that I want to have 16, but that's just because I just want to use my mascaras. I don't want to declutter any. I want to use them until they dry up or go bad, and then I want to start a new one. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through each mascara that I end up using this year. So my goal is to just stick with 16, at least on the spreadsheet, but what that means is just as I use them up, I don't want to purchase any new ones. I just want to get through what I have. So however long it takes, however many I end up with, that's the number I want to have at the end of the year. I hope that makes sense. For eyeliners, I have 3. Do I have 3? Yes, I have 3. I'm hoping to have 2. I currently have 2 black eyeliners and then 1 blue one. I really only need 1 black eyeliner, and then I like having the blue one. So I'll either most likely end up using one of them up, but then maybe also decluttering one. So we'll see how that goes. But my goal is to just have 2 at the end of the year. For brow pencils, I have 3. My goal is to have 2. For brow gels, I have 6. My goal is also to have 2. I just want 1 like colored and 1 clear. I don't know that I'll go through 4 brow gels. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I have no idea. But that's kind of like a rough rough goal for myself to have. For lashes, I currently have 4 pairs of lashes. My goal is to have 4, basically just meaning that realistically I don't see myself decluttering any of them, because although I don't wear lashes, I do like all the different styles that I have, and during the times that I do like to wear lashes, I'm really happy with what I have. So I don't know that I'll declutter any, but maybe I will. We'll see about that one. Lash glues, I have 2. Again, I'm okay with having 2. The reason why I have 2 as my goal is because one of them is a regular lash glue and one of them is like the Glamnetic magnetic lash glue liner thing. So realistically, if I want to wear my magnetic lashes, I'm gonna need the magnetic glue. And if I'm not gonna wear my magnetic lashes, I need a regular glue. So by default, I'm kind of stuck having 2. Unless I, of course, get rid of some of my lashes. So we'll see how that goes. For lip liners, I currently have 4. My goal is to have 2. Some of them are going bad. I really just need like a nude shade. And then I have like a clear lip liner, which is weird because you would think like it doesn't really do much, but I do find that it helps keep my lip line like cleaned up. So I'm happy having 2 of those. For my bullets or crayon lipsticks, I currently have 12. My goal is to have 5. Realistically, I just don't wear lip products all that often outside of like balms and like maybe a gloss if I'm like really feeling fancy. So I don't need 12 of them. However, I'm not going to get rid of everything I own. So my goal is to have 5 because I do still like lipsticks and whatnot. It's just not an everyday thing for me. For liquid lipsticks, I currently have 7. My goal is to have 4. Again, same thing. There's a couple that I really like that I don't want to get rid of, but I don't wear them all the time. So realistically, I don't need, 7 of them. I don't need 4 of them, to be quite honest. I don't need anything, but, we're just going to see. Hopefully I can whittle it down to 4 and see where my collection takes me from there. For lip stains, I have 2. I'm okay with that. I don't use them very often, but I do like having more of a lip stain in my collection. Lip glosses, I have 15. I'm gonna try to pare that down to 8. I have been really into lip gloss lately. Again, realistically, am I gonna like go through 7 lip glosses? No. But I do think I am going to be able to get myself to the point where I can start decluttering some of them, and then hopefully I can have my collection down to about 8. And lastly, I have lip balms and treatments, and this one I'm treating just like my mascaras, where I have 14 and my goal is to have 14, but that's just because I want to use up what I have. I don't want to bring anything else in. I just want to use all of my lip balms, whatever it is. So if I get all the way through this year and I've only been able to use up 1 and I now have 13, that's fine with me. If I use up 6 and I have 8 left, that's fine with me too. Mascaras and lip balms / treatments, I'm just gonna see where the year takes me with those. So that is everything. In total, I have 195 items in my collection, which is a lot, definitely. I'm fully aware of that, but that's also why I'm doing this, just to kind of keep myself in check a little bit. So assuming that all of my numbers are what my goals are, and given that's including, having 14 lip balms and treatments and having 16 mascaras, which I'm not going to because I'm going to be going through them, I will have 148 products at the end of the year, and given that's still a lot and I'm fully aware of it, I'm not saying like, oh, look at me, minimalist over here. Like, no, I'm realistically, like, that's still a lot of makeup. But as long as I am starting to kind of continue paring down my collection. If there's something I'm not using, I want to get rid of it, and I want to start using up my makeup. So that is my makeup inventory for 2021, starting in January. Even though I am filming this at the end of December, I just really wanted to get this filmed and like started to work on the process, so that way I can feel like, just make me feel better about myself. So that is everything. I'm thinking about doing like a skincare inventory / hair care / body care. So I'm probably going to film that and have it up a little bit later. But yeah, so if you enjoyed, I hope you give this a big thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. If you want to see more of me in the future, I'm not sure why you would, but to each their own, go ahead and subscribe down below as well. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.